Right. Well, hi Ant, how you doing?
I'm all right, Daz. Yes.
Cool. Hello everybody. I'm on the tea today.
Yeah, and I'm on the usual. So, yeah, welcome to our Halloween budget special.
Budget.
Pumpkin colour. We could have put some little Halloween stuff around, couldn't we?
Yeah, we could have done if I'd have thought about it, but I'm not that perspicacious, Ant.
No, indeed. Perspicacity is the killed the cat, didn't they say?
Something like that, yeah. But yeah, the budget, blimey, the first time I've ever actually watched one.
Me too.
It was a really big thing this time round, wasn't it? You know, people were absolutely dreading it, you know, so...
Well, I think it had the biggest hype.
It did. It had the biggest hype of any budget I've ever known. Really,
no, we're not going to tell you for 6 weeks. You know,
yeah,
okay.
It's going to be a mess. It's going to be an absolute train wreck, but we're not going to tell you.
Well, it kind of sounds like when you were at school, and it's like, oh, I'm sorry, teach, like, I haven't done my homework. Can I have like a 3-month extension to actually do that essay? That's what it felt like to me.
Exactly.
It was sort of like Rachel Reeves was just totally unprepared, and all of a sudden finds this 20 billion pound black hole. You know,
yeah.
What crap were
How
they?
am I going to fill that one?
But, yeah. So, what was your first impression? I mean, I just thought it was bloody long and a whole bunch of waffle.
Well, it was. It took a long time to actually get to the nitty gritty, which everybody really cares about, like, you know, price of beer, price of fags, and all that kind of stuff.
That's all I used to care about. That's why I never used to watch it. You know,
that's
being
right.
A drinker and a smoker in those days, it's like, how much are you going to slap on a packet of smokes, and how much are you going to cost me down the pub?
I mean, they slapped a penny on the price of a pint, which we won't see the benefit of. Because...
They've taken it off this budget.
Oh, sorry, yeah, they've taken it off, but sorry, that's what I meant.
Yeah.
But yeah, they've taken a penny off the price of a pint, and I think she said it translates to like 1.6% off of beer duty or something.
Yeah.
And but we won't see the benefit of that because, you know, it's sort of pint of Guinness was a £5 yesterday, and it'll be a £5 today.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, I suppose in a way that does kind of help the pubs out a bit, doesn't it? Because it gives them a little bit of an extra sort of profit margin, I suppose. And if that helps keep them open, then I'm for it. You know?
Well, sadly, what they've done is they've given like a penny with one hand, and then they've taken billions with the other because they've put up the minimum wage. So now every single pub
that's a good point, actually.
is going to be hit with something like £30 a day per employee.
Yeah.
In extra, and they put up the employee national insurance. So
exactly.
It's probably going to cost a pub 50 to 60 quid per employee.
Yeah.
On top of all their extra bills that they've got to pay.
Yeah. I take back what I just said. I suppose I was trying to find a redeeming feature of it, really. But yeah, I mean, I did listen to the.
Only if you're a working person.
Yeah.
If you're a working person, you've done well in this budget. But they still, like a woman, they can't define what a woman is. They can't define what a working person is.
Aren't we all working people? Right?
Well, that's what I would have thought. And again, as a business owner, I am really glad that I'm the only employee. And like pretty much none of this, apart from the capital gains and business tax, affects me.
No, that's right. I mean, I'm self-unemployed, so you know it's.
So technically, are you a working person? You're an unemployable person. I think you're closely becoming.
I am bloody unemployable, really. You know.
So please subscribe.
Yeah, please subscribe.
And, you know, we want to try and monetize this so that we can get Daryl off the sofa,
off the jam roll,
yeah.
But yeah, we're sort of trying to make as good content as we can so that people want to watch, you know, we really are doing our best with that.
It's growing. There's 19 of you now. That's
exactly 19
since the
no, 19.
Yeah, as you said last time, 19 people can't be wrong.
Exactly, you can't be wrong. But yeah, getting back to the budget, yeah, I was trying to find some redeeming factors, but yeah, now you've mentioned it, and I kind of think about it a little bit more critically. It's yeah, with all this. You know, new employer NI contributions, that's going to cost businesses an absolute arm and a leg, isn't it? You know, and rather than sort of just pay it, they're going to think, you know, what workers can we shave off here? You know, who's sort of, I mean, in a certain respect, if someone's not pulling their weight and you know, if you've got sort of like, you know, people in a place that aren't really creating a worthwhile net gain, then you're going to, you know, shave them off anyway, aren't you? But yeah, there'll be other places where, you know, redundancies are made because well, that sort of section of the business is not that profitable. It's profitable, but we can live without it. We can amalgamate those two things into one. And
with the changes to the employment law, they've actually made it even harder now for businesses to fire employees. So, considering she started off with blah blah blah, blame the Tories, 14 years of blah blah blah, 22 billion pound black hole, yada yada yada. Her main point in a waffle for half an hour was it's all to stimulate the economy and boost growth.
Yeah.
Well, any numpty will know the things she's put in place there to cripple small business.
Yeah.
Isn't good, because none of the SMEs, small medium-sized enterprises, are going to hire anyone over the coming years because it's just not effective.
That's right.
And a lot of the people that sort of go, it's just going to be passed on to the consumer. There's a lot of businesses out there that just can't. They just price themselves out of the market.
Exactly. You can only charge certain amounts of money for things before people start to walk.
Yeah.
And I'll give you a case in point. And I really hate to say this because the people in my local hairdressers, I really like them. They're really good people, and it's really convenient for me to go around there. But they put the prices up a little while ago, and then they put it up again, and
from what to what? Because I haven't had, as you can probably tell, I haven't had my hair cut since Audrey got cured of cancer. So,
right. Well, I think just before COVID, or fractionally after COVID, my haircut was like £9, which is,
gosh, that's nothing. God.
No, that's right. I mean, men's hairdressing is usually pretty cheap, isn't it? Yeah. But it went up from £9 to, what was it? Sorry, excuse me. I do apologise about this. I shall just get rid of that. We don't want any double glazing today.
No.
And in actual fact, what I'll do to make sure that doesn't happen again is
switch it off.
I think that was my broker, actually. He was telling me to sort of...
Your broker's telling you that you're broke.
Exactly.
That's why he's called a broker.
That's why he's called a broker, yeah. He says, there's no more money in the Cayman Islands for you. It's all gone.
You haven't got enough money to pay my commission, so you're broke.
Yeah, there's been so many bloody price rises on it of late. I can't remember what it was. It went up from £9 to I think it was either 10 or 12. And if it was 10, I thought, well, okay, 10%, I can live with that. It hasn't gone up since I've sort of moved here. And I thought, yeah, okay, I can handle that. COVID and all that, has kind of, created a bit of a problem for people. And then it went up to £15 within about sort of like 18. Within about a year, and one of the guys there said, "Don't worry, it will not be going up again for a very long time." And I went round there the other day, and he's bunged it up to £20, and I thought, well, that's like a 33% rise in sort of like a year and a half or something, sort of
100% increase from £9.
Exactly, yeah, and I thought, you know what, what's it going to be in 6 months? 25. So I thought, you know what, I'm just going to go and buy a pair of clippers and do it my bloody self. Yeah. Because at the end of the day, I understand that things do go up, but there is a limit to what you can just keep piling onto people before they say no. I'll go and buy some clippers and do it myself. So,
and everyone's feeling it. I mean, this is the problem. Is that number one, the extensive money printing that happened during COVID, just debased our currency. Just
exactly. When are people going to learn that never works?
It doesn't. And again, what I don't fully understand the fiscal shenanigans that Rachel Reeves is playing with. She's basically changed some of the capitalisation regulations so that she's actually going to be basically borrowing £50 billion out of the Treasury by fudging. She sort of glanced over it a little bit in the budget. But she's actually changed the way that you actually account for government debt.
Yeah.
Good luck anybody out there that thinks they're going to be better off under Labour. But
no, that's never going to happen. No. I mean, she did mention something about investing money into sort of like roads and potholes and all that kind of stuff.
Yes.
But by the time that happens, there'll be no money left, and it's never going to happen, really.
Well, it's nonsense stuff. I mean, on that sort of point, I mean, I like it that they're going to be investing in aerospace, automotive, you know, research and development, science, blah blah blah, transportation infrastructure. I thought, you know, anyone can benefit from that. 500 million, so $500 million only on potholes, but a lot of it is
that should sort out my road.
You should sort, yeah, hopefully, yeah. I almost like broke a axle coming up your road earlier. But it's all this like climate change nonsense, you know, carbon capture nonsense,
Exactly,
and crap like that. But I mean, the bit that really pisses me off is they're upping our defence budget by 2-point-something billion.
Yeah.
But they've promised to give Ukraine $3 billion every single year until it's nipped in the bud.
Yeah.
What? There was no mention.
So that's now defunct, isn't
there was
it? Really,
no mention at all in here. Her allocating any money to protect our borders and stop the fucking invasion.
No, that's right.
We've now crossed the 30,000 illegal invaders coming in this country mark, and we've still got 2 more months to go.
Exactly.
People are dying in the channel, and forgive me, I couldn't give a fuck.
No.
They are
and
criminals.
I will say this, Ant, on that particular issue. Britain used to be, and probably still is, a very compassionate, very tolerant country.
Too tolerant. Yeah.
But you know, tolerance has its limits. That's why engineers measure it. You know, and as callous as it sounds, I think a lot of people in the country these days have just given up giving a sod about all of these people. You know, they sort of choose to sort of come over and put their lives at risk. Yeah. They're not needed. We can't afford them, and we don't want them. Yeah. Yeah. You know, and
you know, this is
the government has done nothing about addressing the cost of and the implications of all of this. And the 1.5 million homes they want to build is going to go absolutely nowhere, because we know where they're all going to end up, don't we?
Yeah.
You know, so it really is a mess.
Yeah. I mean, 8 million quid a day.
Yeah.
A day, I hasten to add.
Yeah.
And rising. I did the maths. I was chatting to a friend the other day and found out, even though most of these are like Somalis and third world like losers, how are they getting 12 to 15,000 pounds? That's what it costs them to get on one of those dinghies. That's 750,000 pounds per dinghy if they cram 50 people on there.
Yeah.
So these gangs, there's no way they're going to crash them. This is worse than the fucking drug gangs.
Exactly.
It's
big business, isn't it?
We should be putting 50% of our fucking budget into protecting the border.
Exactly.
Sink the fucking boats, round up all the illegals that are here.
Yeah.
We want zero immigration until this problem is fixed.
Exactly.
You know,
because it just can't continue, and anyone that thinks it can is delusional.
It's mental.
And they are going to wake up to a very, very, very brutal reality very, very soon, if they haven't already.
Yeah.
You know, and it really is a problem that needs sorting. You know,
and they don't seem to be tackling it.
No.
At all.
Well,
at all.
You know, without wishing to say too much, it's all part of the plan, isn't it? Really, you know, sort of sensible people know what the plan is. But
yes.
But yeah, I mean, there were certain things on there which I thought, well, you know, not quite as brutal as I thought, but you know, but on the flip side of that, brutal in other areas. And as I keep telling people, it's no good sort of just saying, oh well, it doesn't really apply to me, so I don't care. You know, that's not really the attitude to take, is it?
No.
You know, so yeah, it'll be an interesting few years, won't it?
You know, there's nothing we can do. You know,
No.
I mean, it makes me laugh that these people posting on X. You know, oh, we need to have a new election and blah blah blah. It's like, well, guys, do you know how our political system works? We've got Labour for the next 4
Exactly,
years,
whether you like it or not.
At least, yeah. I mean, I did like the fact that they're going to try and clamp down on benefits fraud, because apparently there's £4.3 billion a year.
Yeah.
Benefit. Well, how have they let that get out of hand?
Exactly. Well, I mean, I know people don't like to hear this, but it does come back to immigration again, doesn't it? Because, you know, if you're going to sort of like allow loads and loads of people to come into the country, they're going to be heavily dependent on benefits for at least a generation or two. You know, and it's just not going to change anything. You know, they're going to have their sort of fingers in the till for decades. You know.
Well, public sector, you know, name me one thing in the public domain that actually works. You know, the private sector works in a free market economy, or, you know, closest thing to a free market economy. if you've got no competition, it's like the NHS, they're dumping how much? I didn't even see how much they've got, but another billions and billions. 22 billion are going into the NHS.
Yeah.
It's a money pit.
It is.
It is
Totally
a
money pit.
clusterfuck. The more money you throw at it, without tackling the real problems, which is all of these diversity nonsense things,
Exactly.
100 million in interpreters. If you
Yeah.
can't speak fucking English, you fucking don't get any help.
Exactly. And you know, the reason why I'm not buying a poppy this year is because I understand. I haven't actually checked this out yet, so forgive me. I don't normally say things without checking them out, but I think it's probably quite reliable information that the Royal British Legion has just hired some sort of diversity officer on 80 grand a year. So
Probably.
you know, if
well, they've got to look at all the rainbow poppy crap.
exactly, yeah. I mean, what a waste of money.
By that.
You know, I am completely disgusted by it, to be honest with you, and that's why I'm. You know, it pains me not to buy a poppy, but I just can't do it. I must admit, though, changing the subject with and sort of injecting a slight little bit of levity here. One of the things I did find that was actually quite amusing is that I would imagine by now Rishi Sunak is down at Thomas Cook and booking a flight because she did actually say that they were going to put a 50% increase on private jet.
I was just about to bring that up. You know,
and she said, you know, and that amounts to about 450 quid for let's say a flight from London to California, which we all know is where Rishi's going to be pissing off to any moment soon.
Yeah, exactly.
So you know, it's but yeah, it's. I mean, oh, I'm scrambled with it all really because it ain't going to make that much difference, is it really? But, you know.
Well, the laugh of it is getting back to that because I turned my notes over because I thought that was quite funny as well. You know, £2 per person airport passenger duty for the likes of you and I, flying with scum pleb class, and a 50% duty on private jets, but that's £450 per person. What she fails to impart to people that is if you have a private jet, and especially if you do it through your corporation, the whole thing is completely expensible under American law.
Yeah.
So it probably wouldn't cost them anything. That would just be another tax break.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, absolutely incredible. Business rates going up. The only good thing was what they were trying to do for the high streets. That they're capping business rates and giving more relief. Otherwise, they're going to become ghost towns. They really are. I mean, a lot of them are
already.
Yeah,
you know, people
dreadful.
buying stuff online all the time. I actually quite miss the days where you could go into the high street and you know, wander around and actually tangibly see the things that you were going to, you know, thinking about buying. You know, it's
that is sort of coming back. I was listening to I think it was Tuka Suleiman was being interviewed the other day, and he was actually saying his retail outlets because people now after all the nonsense of lockdown and all that bollocks where everything was online and you know, but come back to like you know being environmentally friendly. All of this buy from home and all of these delivery trucks running all over the place. Well, that's not really environmentally friendly, is it? You know,
hardly.
And it's all about
especially when you have to send half of it back as well.
climate nonsense. But yeah, I mean, I think I'm going to do a Darryl on this one. And, I think that's enough of the fucking budget.
And that's enough of that. Yeah.
Let's talk about something more.
How about Halloween?
How about Halloween? Hello, Halloween.
Halloween. Who's
Hello.
evening, anyway?
Halloween.
Good
Good evening. And woo. God,
Halloween was never really a thing in this country until the sort of Americanization, because you know whatever America gets, we get 10 years
I
later.
did. I mean, it's actually the third. Well, of course, it's budget day, isn't it? So everyone knows it's the 30th that we're recording this. On the way here, I did actually see a mum and some kids dressed up in Halloween costumes,
Right.
and I just thought, "You dopey cunts! Don't you know Halloween's tomorrow?" You know. Yeah, no, Halloween. Yeah, because I haven't lived in America. They go to town with it. It is absolutely bonkers.
And half of it doesn't really pertain to sort of scariness anyway, does it? I mean, it just ends up being a you know a bog standard fancy dress excuse, doesn't it? Really.
Yeah.
You know, I look at some you know costumes and think, what the hell's that got to do with Halloween? You know?
Well, I didn't over here. We call it something different because the 1st of November is All Saints' Day.
Right.
And so there's something, it's a pagan thing, I think, with the 31st of October. that it's when all the ghosts and ghoulies and sort of Day of the Dead crap and all that nonsense. And because when I lived in Germany, All Saints Day, I was down in a very, very Catholic part of Germany, almost on the Austrian border, and they actually have what they call a Tanzverbot. It's forbidden to have fun and dance and sing and shit like that. It's actually regulated because we were actually in a nightclub.
Sounds like North Korea.
And I went to get up and dance, and my mate told me, no. If there's an undercover cop in there, he could lose his license and be shut down.
Yeah.
And I said, fuck off, don't be stupid. But no, I mean, Halloween, I think it's just, more American commercialisation that's come over here. I mean, in my day,
it was Penny for the Guy and Guy Fawkes, wasn't it?
Guy Fawkes,
exactly. Used to have
more British culture that's being swept to one side.
Exactly. Just put your teeth in, Daryl. Being erased again. I mean, I remember years ago when I was a kid, in my day, before the war, or after the war.
Mr. Grimsdale.
But we actually used to have bonfire nights,
Yeah.
And I remember sometimes when they used to get a little bit out of hand, the fire brigade used to come and put them out. But generally speaking, they were, sort of all very well and good, and you used to have some fireworks and things, and us kids used to build guys and all that, and go around for the local, sort of people, and get Penny for the Guy.
Could you even have it? Would it have to be a trans guy?
It'd have to be a trans one now,
around
wouldn't it?
These days. It's like,
Penny for the them or something like that.
What are guys' pronouns? Penny for the gay, penny for the gay.
Yeah, you'd have to take all that into consideration now, wouldn't you? What gender pronouns does your guy have now?
And then burn it. You then have a load of uproar like, oh, you can't burn trannies. Oh,
exactly.
No, they've got rights.
Which no one's denying, but everyone's got rights these days. I don't know why people bang on about this stuff anymore. There's nothing that anyone can do in this country that nobody else can do.
One thing you can't have these days is opinions.
Oh,
no.
Opinions, no.
Oh,
sorry about that. Yeah.
Where's the woke?
No opinions here. Nothing to see here. Move on.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of miss, Guy Fawkes and all that
good
kind
old
of stuff.
days.
Yeah, the good old days. Yeah.
Well,
I mean, not everything's rosy, but it's certainly a lot better than it is now.
I think so. I can't imagine being a kid these days.
See, I told you I'd go teetotal. I've got no tea left.
There you go. But we do have some wine.
Ah, yes. That brings me neatly on to that, actually. Do you remember when you bought that round?
And it was so long ago.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it doesn't have more dust on it.
Yeah, well, I'd like to introduce you to Triggers Trevento. It's
Mary Malbec. It's another one. It's a different one.
Oh, is it? Oh, that ruins my joke then.
Oh.
I was going to say this is Triggers Trevento because it's had 3 new bottles and 3 new contents since you brought it around, but it's still the same bottle of wine.
Yeah. With a different label.
Yeah, but I must admit I didn't notice that, but as you can probably guess from that, I've actually drunk it 3 times and replaced it.
It's not a bad little tipple though, is it?
It's very nice, and we're not being sponsored for this, but I can highly recommend that.
Yeah, it's a nice Malbec.
Yeah, so it's a shame we won't get to open that today, but
no, because I have to drive back this evening. So,
yeah, but I shall stick it back in the wine fridge and keep it.
Absolutely.
Unless, of course, I drink it later and replace it again next week.
Yeah, well, after we've wrapped all this up, we'll plan our next shooting schedule and try and get on. Apologies, the month since the Mick Miller thing. I mean, that's just gone.
It has, isn't it? Yeah,
I've just been so busy with stuff.
I really enjoyed that. That was good. That was really good.
That was cracking, Jack.
Hopefully, we'll get to interview the great Mr. Miller again at some point soon.
He did say if everyone's up that way, get in touch. So that's good. But we've got quite a few things in the pipeline. Haven't we? We're going to try out probably for the next one. We're going to try out this. I'm going to call it remote viewing, but that's not. It's like I can see something in the distance. Because I never used it during lockdown. I had a lovely time during lockdown because we were already in isolation because of Audrey's cancer treatment. So not working, I never had to use this conference, whatever they call it, the video group. Teams or Zoom or whatever it is. Zoom, that's the thing.
And I actually did try it once because I had a pupil that I the one pupil I had left after
remote drumming.
Yeah, but it didn't work. It was a total train wreck. I hate all this stuff, and I can I can absolutely see this sort of turning into a train wreck, especially the moment I get my hands on it anyway, because technology has this habit of knowing when I'm trying to use it.
Yeah. Well, I found a bit of software that I think is close to idiot-proof as possible. So we're going to, in lieu of our technology episode that we're going to do at some point in the future, we're going to try a live link up, because then we'll be able to interview other guests without having to go and meet them.
Indeed.
Make it easier for all concerned. So we're going to tie that one in with a bit of a nostalgic look back on
different technology and
things from our era.
Our era, yeah.
Starting with the chalk and slate. And, we still had chalkboards at school, did you?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, we had this great big roller ball.
Yeah. They were brilliant.
They were, and the teacher used to pull them down right on it, and then it used to.
Because you'd always write a message on it, and it'd be like, "Mr. So and So is a cunt" or something.
Yeah.
Oh no! I almost spent the whole episode without saying that.
Well, in actual fact, that is the second time you've done it
today. It's Tourette's. It's Tourette's. I've got cunt Tourette's, I think it is. And like, God, I didn't even know it's the first one. That was like, yeah, but you were great, or it'd be like a big penis.
Exactly, and the teacher used to pull it down, and it's like, back when you could have a sense of humour and not get arrested.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. No, well, I do have to jump quickly over the pond, having mentioned America earlier, because I am a devotee of Mr. Trump. I saw his press conference the other day, and I just had to giggle. His poster in the background, it's Trump will fix it. And I just went, dude.
Oh, bit dodgy, yeah.
No.
Get rid of that.
I don't want to link to Savile there.
No. Well, I mean, to be fair, they probably don't even know who the hell he is anyway.
Oh, no, not at all. But, they wouldn't have done. You imagine if Starmer will fix it.
Starmer will fix it, yeah. Although, having said that, he's probably has got quite a link to old Mr. Mr. S, isn't it, really?
Undoubtedly. Being the prosecution, I suppose.
Yeah.
Whatever.
But, Starmer will fix it. Yeah, I can't see that happening. But yeah.
Any more bits?
Well, I have got a couple of little bits which might be. Excuse me. Blimey. I have got one or two little bits and pieces which I thought may be interesting for some viewers. Over the last couple of months, I've been going up to a racing stable in Newmarket to help a friend of mine out, give him a lift up there so that he can see his racehorse. And I've put together a little bit of footage of that, just so that, because it's a sort of a place that, most people don't get to see, get to see the horses in their training habitat and stuff.
Have you ever ridden a horse?
I never have, and I don't think I would do very well at it, to be honest. I'd probably end up
horse riding,
breaking my neck. But it's not a particularly exciting piece of footage, but it does just give you an insight into sort of seeing the horses in their natural habitat and watching them on the gallops when they're being trained and all that kind of thing. And I have to say that the people up there are really, really lovely people. They make me feel very welcome when I go up there, and they're very hospitable. Yeah. And I thought I'd just give people a brief little insight into it, just so that they can have a look. And also, I've got one other little thing. Well,
shall we have a look at that footage now?
Okay, let's do that, and then I'll do the next thing. So,
okay.
So where's the footage going to come in from? Is it over there or over here? Or?
It's going to gallop in.
It's going to gallop in from this way. Excellent. Blinding. Right.
Well, you've seen that film Gremlins, haven't you?
Yeah, not for many decades.
We've got to laugh about it. Apparently,
I am not impressed, by the way. I'm really, really, really not impressed.
As you might have noticed, this is not the Newmarket footage with the horses.
No.
Yes, we seem to have misplaced it somehow, but we will find it and we will.
Well, hopefully it's still around somewhere. It's probably hiding in some sort of like folder, which I didn't put it in.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's but this is just another sort of like reason why I can't stand technology, because I did say, didn't I, that it always seems to know when I'm trying to use it, and it says, let's have some fun with Daryl. It's I can't stand this crap. I really honestly can't. It does my head in. I think the whole world should go back to pen and paper and 50 DC dial phones and all that kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we're going to have a whole episode at some point in the future all about our trials and tribulations with technology.
I need a fucking drink. Where's that bottle of wine?
Exactly. So, well, back to what we recorded earlier, thinking this was going to be the Newmarket thing. So, probably going to look a bit weird, but I do remember saying that was excellent footage, which it was excellent footage of lots of GGs. So,
yeah, it would have been halfway reasonable.
We've segued this bit in just to make sense.
Yeah, just to make sense of it all. But if I find it, we'll put it in another episode. But there you go.
Yeah. Time for a drink. So
time for a drink.
Back to the rest of the podcast.
Absolutely. Cool. Excellent.
And now do you? Well, that was amazing. That was like that really brought back memories because I used to. Well, it wasn't my girlfriend. It was one of my friends' girlfriends had a horse.
Right.
But you have to keep galloping. You have to keep riding it. So if you like keep it exercise, like you walk a dog, you've got to take your horse out. So we used to do bareback riding and do little jumps, which was amazing. It was like, cool, how old were we? 15, 16? And and the horse stopped at the jump one time and I went straight out. Back when I had really, really good, like, flexible bones. And
that can be really dangerous though, can't it, that? You know,
I really should have had more concussions and more broken backs than I've had through skiing accidents and horse throws. But,
this is why I kind of don't indulge in all these radical sports, you know.
Apart from clay pigeon shooting.
Well, yeah, I suppose. I mean, you could say it's hard. It's not radical, but I mean, you know, things can go wrong in that as well, I suppose.
It's a weapon.
It is, yeah. But I mean, sort of 8-ball pool is about the most radical I normally do. But I do enjoy a little bit of clay pigeon shooting from time to time. Actually, it sort of focuses the mind a bit, you know. I quite like it.
Thanks for sharing that. That was like,
hopefully you.
I have a flutter every now and again. Do you have a little?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not exactly a gambling man, but yeah, I mean, I did have a wee flutter when my friend Mel facilitated me to go up to the races in Newmarket a couple of months back. So, and I had a little bit of beginner's luck. So, but I thought, right, I've had my beginner's luck. I'm going to stop it there. You know? But yeah, I just thought I'd let everyone sort of see that because it's a little view behind the scenes of something different. You know,
a little bit of horseplay.
Very well done. I didn't see that one coming.
But you said you had something else. Another bit on your to-do list.
Yeah, just another little bit of nostalgia, basically. Who remembers the fall and rise of Reginald Perrin from back in the late 70s, early 80s? Yeah? And I wasn't going to do this. I'm certainly not going to do the voice, but who's this, Anne?
Oh, Miss Jones. Oh, Miss Jones. That was Rising Damp, wasn't it? That was Rising Damp.
But Leonard Rossiter.
yeah.
But yeah, Leonard Rossiter doesn't really change in many things.
It was David Frost, wasn't it? And if you don't understand that joke, you need to watch the previous episodes.
Yeah. But yeah, I was watching the Fall and Rise of Reginald Perrin a little while ago. I watched the 3 series, and it was a great piece of nostalgia. It's a very funny program, and so it's worth looking up, and you know, it might give you something to watch over the Christmas period. You know, if you sick of all the repeats and all that kind of stuff, then you know, here's something might even be new for you, or but. For people our age, you'll probably remember it, and it might be worth a second visit because it is very, very funny. And I thought that you could turn it into a drinking game. Right. If you look at some of the episodes in the second series, where it seems to me to be a little bit more sort of predominant, if you watch them and take a drink every time him or his wife say "darling," it's. I mean, I find it quite funny, but it's mildly amusing. But
did you try it out? Is that what you've got through?
Well, I've got three bottles of wine.
Yeah.
But I've got a little clip sort of put together. It's only about sort of like half a minute or so long, but it's very much like this throughout lots of the episodes throughout the first and especially second series. but yeah, they're always saying darling, you know, and I thought, you know, you could turn that into a little drinking game and, you know, have a little shot of something every time somebody says darling, you know. And it'll also give you something new to watch over the Christmas period. So,
sadly, we can't get Leonard Rossiter in as our next guest.
no, that'd be a neat trick, wouldn't
yeah.
it? But yeah, wouldn't that be great though? He'd be enormously funny to interview. But yeah, I've got a little clip coming in, and here it is.
Yes, you should see what he looks like, darling. I found out, of course, it wasn't Tony Webster either. I mean, you told me all those lies just because you were working at Sunshine Reserve, darling.
Well, I'm sorry. I won't lie to you anymore.
I know, darling. Who were you working with on Saturday?
The firm's Luxembourg representative. He's rented a flat in Godalming.
I'm sorry, I suspected you of having an affair, darling.
Oh, that's all right, darling. You know, last year, when I was in Worthing, I thought you were having an affair with Joan.
An affair with Joan? Did you really? Good Lord, an affair? Did you really?
You weren't, were you?
No, indeed, I wouldn't have fair chance of me if I think, darling. Have an affair at Sunshine Reserve. I mean, you never get a minute yourself. CJ's in, and now what do you know yourself? Now, where else could we meet? I mean, not here, because you're always here.
Right. We'll just
So-
end it and like fizzle out with that.
Yeah, okay. And yeah, so I mean, we could actually sort of just say, so what did you think of that, Ant? Do you think that'll be something to give a watch to over the Christmas period?
Yeah, well, like definitely, you know, very nostalgic, old Leonard, and you know me and drinking. You know, like you being a teetotaler, I am a tin totaler.
Tin totaler.
And,
Yeah, we'll have to sort that out in a minute, then, won't we?
Yes, and there we go. So I mean, we better wind this episode up.
Exactly.
I'm going to start to dehydrate soon.
Indeed, we can't have that.
No,
we can't have
definitely
that.
not.
I need to
Definitely
get
not.
that back in the wine fridge as well.
And definitely not going to do November, as in no drinking November.
No,
Or whatever. I know it's moustache, isn't it?
that's moustache month, isn't it?
Moustache timber or
Yeah.
something.
But yeah, I mean, you know, I'm certainly going to give old Leonard a bit of a watch over the Christmas period and see if I can, you know, spot how many darlings there are. But
Absolutely.
yeah,
Another shot of darling.
yeah, another shot, darling. Oh, don't mind if I do, darling.
Yeah, blackout. Captain Darling. Wonderful. Well, thanks for if you're still here.
Yeah, if you're still here,
Thank you.
Indeed.
You probably are one of the 19 subscribers. Please like this. Please share it. Please help us grow.
indeed, like and subscribe.
Thankfully, we haven't lost any subscribers.
Well, let's hope not.
Well, hopefully, we'll improve the content. You know.
Yeah, we're
build
doing our
more
best
of a
to,
fan
aren't we?
base.
You know?
Well, considering we don't use social media at all, you know, we are only on YouTube. We don't have Facebook because I don't like any of that nonsense.
No,
I can't make head nor tail of Instagram.
no, neither can I. I am in the process of getting all this up on Rumble at the moment as well. So hopefully, at some point in the near future, it'll all be up there as well. So,
Yeah, wonderful. Well, we'll see you next time, where hopefully it'll be the technology episode.
yeah, looking forward to that.
Unless something fun comes up. We might do something for Trump. There's elections next week.
Yeah, we could, you know, shoehorn something like that in there as well.
Harris the camel and Donald the Trump.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, well, cheers, Ant. It's goodbye from me, and it's
goodbye from him.
Cheers.
See you later.
Wunderbar.
Wunderbar.